Mystics of the Magic, Chapter 3, Nothing But Ink. The four guardians looked at the area in front of them. Aqua was the most shocked out of all of them. Jack walked over to the infected area and tried to touch the ground. "Don't touch it!" Aqua exclaimed, using her water to pull Jack's hand away from the ground. Jack looks back to tell Aqua that she was overreacting, only to find a horrified look on her face. Jack knew how Aqua was when it came to protecting the people that she was worried about. It was no secret that Aqua tended to overreact. But this was a new reaction Jack had never seen before. Jack stepped away from the ground, thinking it would calm Aqua down. "Sorry. What happened here?" Bunny wondered. Thunder walks over to the trees and waves his arms over the mist. "What is it, Thunder?" Aqua asked. "I'm not sure," Thunder says. "This is something I have not seen before. I think it's best that we have Iran look at this." Iran looked at the black and purple mist from the trees. She then looked at the ash-like ground. "Iran, do you know what this is?" Liam asked. "I'm not sure," Iran says. "This is something I've never seen before." "Do you think the Mornbeast could have done this?" Jade asked. "No. You and I both know that Mornbeasts follow darkness. They do not create it," Aqua answered. "It could have been the Mimic," Pond said. "What makes you think that?" Rainfall asked. "Mimics tend to leave behind bits of ink and darkness," Pond explained. "One mimic can destroy a small area like this, but a group of them can do much worse. Luckily, we only found one mimic. But that still doesn't explain where the Mornbeast came from," Tooth adds. "I think it's better if we call it a night," Iran says. "I'll contain this area until we know what's going on further. For now, let us return home." Aqua and Thunder looked at each other with concern. Aqua walked over to Jade, Rainfall, Sun, and Pond and whispered to them, "Meet at the clubhouse. We need to talk." "I think Iran is hiding something," Aqua says. "Are you sure?" Rainfall asked. "What proof do you have, Aqua?" "We all know Iran has a vast knowledge of corruption and dark magic," Aqua explains. "That, and we all know when she lies. And given her history..." "Aqua, you know my family only tampers with dark magic unless it's in a dire situation," Thunder says. "And you know better than anyone that my aunt stopped using dark magic 400 years ago. Are you saying she has something to do with the area being infected?" "That's not what I'm saying at all," Aqua says. "But she is hiding something." "Like what?" Jade asked. "I'm not sure. But we can't figure this out on our own. We need help." "We can't ask the deputies," Sun says. "Then why not ask the Guardians of Childhood?" Pond suggests. "Is that really wise?" Rainfall asked. "If we ask them to help, it'll go against the treaty we have with them." Aqua thinks for a moment and sighs. "I don't think we have a choice. We can't ask the deputies for help." "Thunder, send a message to the other Guardians. Ask them to meet you in town." "Right." Thunder walks out of the clubhouse. "Aqua, is this really a good idea?" Rainfall asked. "We need all the help we can get at this point." Bunny runs through his tunnels at top speed. He had gotten a message from Thunder saying that he wanted to talk. A hole opens from above and Bunny jumps out from the ground. "Hey, Bunny!" Bunny looks back to see Jack, North, Tooth, and Sand waiting near the center of town. "What are you all doing here?" "We all got the message from Thunder," Tooth says. "He said he wanted to talk." "About what?" "He didn't say." "I'm glad you all could make it." The big five look over to see Thunder looking down on them from the light pole. I'm sorry for calling you out here in the middle of the night so soon. Is something wrong? It's the corruption in the area in the forest, Thunder says. Aqua thinks Iran is hiding something about it. Bunny raises an eyebrow and says, Really? She can tell when somebody is lying. That's a little hard to believe, mate. Believe it or not, Aqua has known my aunt for years, Thunder says. The corruption in the forest? She knows something about it, and she won't tell us. The Divine is asking you for help. Why us? Iran won't tell us anything, and we can't ask the deputies, Thunder explains. You mean your parents? Yes, our parents. The point is, we need your help. Aqua won't admit it, but she's reached a dead end. So she's not as smart as she points herself out to be. Watch it, Bunnymund. Can you help us? The Guardians look at each other and North says, We will. Thunder sighs in relief and says, Thank you. In a library decorated in white and gold, Iran walks down the ramps of the higher level. While she walks down, her ear twitches. A small rustling sound comes from one of the upper levels from the library. She looks back to see the origin of the sound. Must have been a bookworm, she thinks to herself. She looks back down at her book and continues to walk down the ramp. A kangaroo ear pokes out from the bookshelf and twitches. Pond and Tooth look at Iran walking down the ramp. Is this really a good idea? Tooth asked. Not to worry, love. We're only here to get the information and be off. Pond reassures Tooth. We'll be fine, and I've done this plenty of times before. Tooth looks at Pond for a moment. Is something wrong, darling? Does Aqua know about that? Oh, she does, Pond says. She's lectured me several times about it, but I do it because, well, it's fun to mess with her. The book we're looking for should be down here. Tooth follows Pond to the lower part of the library. Pond leads Tooth to the back of the library and looks in a line of books. Let's see here. Potions, spells, seals. Aha! Here we are! Book of All Things Dark. This should give us the information we need. Let's return to the clubhouse. Is this really a good idea? We're only borrowing it. We'll return it once we're done using it. Aqua looks out the window of the clubhouse while Thunder and Sun pace back and forth in the room. Where are they? Aqua wonders. They should have been back by now. I thought you didn't care, Bunny says. Aqua looked back at Bunny with an annoyed look on her face. She walks over to Bunny and hits him with a stick. It made a thump-like sound. Bunny groans in pain and says, What the bloody hell was that for? Just because I act my age doesn't mean I don't care about Pond and Tooth, Aqua says, hovering the stick next to her stone necklace. Act your age? You act like a wild animal! Who hits a rabbit with a stick? Someone who knows when others don't have manners. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you've got some of Jack's bad habits. What was that? Bunny says in a deep voice, his face a few inches away from Aqua. Are you two done? Aqua and Bunny looked over to see Thunder looking at them, annoyed. If I didn't know any better, I'd say the two of you were concerned about Tooth and Pond. I'm looking at you, Aqua. I know Pond can handle herself, Aqua says. It's Tooth I'm worried about. I don't know why Pond insisted on taking Tooth with her in the first place. Backup? Jade guessed. Ha! Pond is too prideful to have backup. Did someone call my name? Everyone looks over at the door to see Pond and Tooth walking through the door. Thunder looks at Pond to see her with a book. Is that the book? Thunder asked. What else would it be, darling? Pawn throws the book to Thunder, and he opens the book. He walks over to the table and flips through the pages. No. Thunder stops at a page and looks at its illustration. Did you find something? Rainfall asked. The Ouroboros flower. What's an Ouroboros flower? Jack asked. An Ouroboros flower has the power to absorb darkness in any area, Sun says. Aqua, Luna, and Iran studied its properties. Is that true? Jade asked. We only studied it because it has magical properties similar to bangles, Aqua says. We used the petals from the flower for potions 300 years ago. But we had to stop. Sandy makes a question mark with his sand as a way of asking why. Aqua looks away in dismay, but keeps a general look on her face. The flower's magic was too much to handle. The darkness that it had absorbed was slipping out. We couldn't risk it infecting the Unity Crystal. Thunder, do you think the Ouroboros flower is the cause of this? Most likely, Thunder says. But I won't know until I get a sample from the mist. Right, I'll go. I'll go with you, Pawn says. Aqua holds Pawn by her forehead and holds her back. Hey, what are you doing? You're staying here, Aqua says. I'm better going on my own. That's not fair. I think it's completely fair. I think what Pond is trying to say is that it may not be a good idea to go on your own, Thunder says. Sun, why don't you go with Aqua? Sure. Sun flies over to Aqua and the both of them walk out the door. Is Aqua always this mean to you? Bunny asks Pond. Yes, Pond answers, but I don't mind. She's my little sister, and that's what sisters do. Ocean blue colored magic envelops a small testing tube and creates a dim light. Aqua leads the tube into the mist, and with a swift motion, she lifts the tube and seals it with a cork. This should be enough, Aqua says. I'm done on my end as well, Sun says. He flies over to Aqua and asks, should we get a sample of the ground too? I think that might be best, Aqua says. She takes out another testing tube and leads it to the ground. She drags it along the ground, making small scraping sounds, like nails scratching a blackboard. Aqua levitates the tube up and reveals an ash-like substance. Within the ash, Aqua could see black-like goo. What is that? Sun asked, covering his pale orange beak in disgust. I don't know, Aqua responds. She looks over to Sun and says, can you relax? It's in a tube. I don't know how you can look at that and not gag. Aqua rolls her eyes and says, let's head back to the clubhouse. I'm sure the others might be wondering where we are. A quick snap came from the right of Aqua and Sun. The duo hide behind a bush and look around. From several holes in the bushes, Sun and Aqua could see Liam and Iran walking into view. Iran leans down and Liam asks, are you sure this is wise, Iran? Keeping this from them? It's only until I'm certain of what we're dealing with, Iran says, putting her hand in the mist. She lifts up the mist and makes a circular motion with the mist. Light calls darkness. Darkness calls light. If this came from something in the reality of magic, we have to find it before it gets out of hand. That's not the only thing, is it? Iran looks down, lowering her arm. Iran, does this have something to do with her? No, Iran said coldly. Let us return home. Iran and Liam walk away from the infected area and vanish into the forest. That was too close, Sun says, flying up to a branch. What do you think they were talking about? For the most part, I think Iran knows more than she's letting on, Aqua says. But Aqua trailed off. Sun looked at Aqua. knowing what she didn't want to say. He flies down and says, "Let's get back to the clubhouse. I'm sure the others are wondering where we are." Aqua looks down and nods. Thunder placed the 3 substances into 3 potion bottles. He takes a closer look at the first potion bottle with the tree sample. From what he could see, a faint purple and black glow from in between the cracks of the bark. He then looked at the second bottle with the sample from the mist. He moves the bottle around, and the mist flows like mist from a cloud. Thunder looks at the last bottle with the ground sample. From closer inspection, Thunder could sense magic resembling that were similar to root rot magic. "Well, I think we might be dealing with root rot magic," Thunder says. "What's root rot magic?" Bunny asked. "It's a corruption type of magic," Thunder explains. "It can kill an entire forest in a matter of hours. It doesn't explain why the forest is reacting the way it is now." "So, what do we do?" Rainfall asked. "I hate to be the one to say this, but I have no idea what we're dealing with. We might have to..." Thunder looks at Aqua. "No, not happening, Thunder," Aqua proclaims. "Aqua, Iran isn't going to talk to the rest of us," Thunder says. "You're the only one she'll talk to." Aqua sighs in annoyance and says, "I can't believe I'm doing this. Iran is going to kill me for this." Aqua walks down the hallway to Iran's study. "Relax, Aqua. This will only take a few minutes, at best," Aqua thinks to herself. She won't know. Aqua stands in front of Iran's study. She could feel a bead of sweat going down her face. The last time she was this nervous is when she was an apprentice. She takes a breath and knocks on the door. "Iran, may I enter?" Aqua asked. "You may," Iran responds. Aqua opens the door with her magic and walks in. She closes the door behind her. The others look around the corridor and quietly walk to the door. Thunder, Pond, and Bunny put their ears to the door and hear what Aqua and Iran are saying. "Is there something you need?" Iran asked. "There's something I've been meaning to ask you," Aqua says, "and it's about the forest. Do you know what caused its corruption?" Iran stopped what she was doing and sighs. "Okay, you got me," Iran says. "What's happening to the forest? It's called the mold of rot. It has the power to desolate an area in a matter of seconds. It's more dangerous than root rot. I didn't want to tell you because I wanted to make sure." "I've heard of the mold of rot," Aqua says, walking over to one of the seats near the window. "Is it that dangerous?" "I'm afraid so." One other question. Do you plan on telling the Guardians about this?" Iran looks at Aqua for a second and asks, "Did Thunder put you up to this?" Thunder moves away from the door and tries to walk away awkwardly. Jade and Rainfall chuckle quietly. "Thunder, get back here," Sun whispers. Thunder walks back and puts his ears back on the door. "What? No! Es que estabas preocupada por los porque son los guardianes de tierra," Aqua says, trying to keep her composure. "Aqua, 1, you're speaking in Spanish while panicking," Iran says. "And 2, I was planning on telling them once I had my facts straight." "What did Aqua just say?" Jack whispers. "Can you focus?" Pond whispers. "Is there something else that's bothering you?" Aqua asked. Iran blinks 2 times in surprise and looks away. She knew what Aqua was trying to do. She had done it before multiple times. Aqua waited for Iran to respond. She wanted to get the truth out of her, even if she didn't want to talk about it. Iran sighs, but then, before she could speak, she stopped herself. "Iran?" What's wrong? Aqua, could you give me a moment? Alright. Iran uses her magic to teleport out of the room. From the other side of the door, Bunny, Pond, and Thunder tried to hear where Iran had gone. I don't hear her, Pond says. She must have teleported out of her study, Thunder says. Why would she do that? Bunny asked. I'm not sure. Thunder looks to his left and could feel a bead of sweat go down the side of his face. He moves his right arm off the door, his eyes still fixated on his left. Bunny looks over at Thunder and asks, Thunder? You good, mate? No reply. Well, what are you looking at, Shocks? Everyone looks in Thunder's direction and jumps out of surprise and shock. Spying, are we? Iran looks stern and strong. She looks over at Thunder and says, I should have known you would have put Aqua up to this. Thunder tries to say something, but all that he does is sigh, his head hanging low. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the rot sooner, Iran says. Is there a way to cleanse the forest? Jack asked, assuming there is a spell. There is one spell that can cure the forest, Iran says. However, I can't cast it. What do you mean? Rainfall asked. Iran walks over to the book on her desk and levitates it over to Rainfall. She looks at the spell and says, Wait, the healing spring spell? What's the healing spring? It's a spell that can heal any and all land of mold and rot, Iran explains. It was used by the first Guardian of Hope when our world was decaying. First Guardian of Hope? Aqua isn't the only one? Bunny asked, looking at Aqua. Of course not, Aqua says. There's been 2 other beings before me. The second I knew from before the alliance was formed. But I am curious to know, why can't you cast the spell, Iran? The spell is out of my element. Out of your element? What does that mean? North asked. Nerium's guardians are bound to several elements, Aqua says. Fire, water, earth, air, light, darkness, and shadow. Certain spells require a certain element. And since Iran is a dark element, she can't cast the spell, Thunder says. The healing spring spell requires a water element, and since Aqua and Rainfall are water elements, they can cast the spell, Iran says. But there is one other problem. The spell is in another language, Rainfall says, and only Aqua and Thunder speak it. And what would that be? Luxembourgish. What? Luxembourgish is a language spoken in Grand Duchy, Thunder explains. Not many creatures in Merium can speak the language. Aqua and I learned how to speak it from Luna because she's fluent in Luxembourgish. She taught us when we were younger. How soon can you have the spell translated? It might take some time, Aqua says. If the spell can't work on its own, I might have to use a seal. Well, we'll have the spell ready as soon as possible, Thunder says. In the meantime, I'll have my father put out 2 guards near the forest. Rainfall, can you escort the guardians back to Earth? Certainly. This is where I take my leave, Rainfall says. Once Thunder and Aqua finish the spell, we'll contact you 5. Rainfall opens a portal and leaves. Should we really trust them? Bunny says. Why would you say that? Jack asked. We made an agreement almost 500 years ago not to get involved with each other. Then there's magic slipping into our world that came from their reality. Don't you think that's a bit strange? Bunny, I think you're forgetting that Aqua and the others have more knowledge about magic in their reality than we do, North says. I think we can let this one slide. Bunny looks off to the side. He trusted the Divine and the deputies to an extent, but he always questioned their ability to do their job right. It was something he did with Jack as well, but all he could do now was wait for the Divine and the deputies to tell them any news. Bunny sighs and says in a cold yet moderate voice, "Fine." "This means disarray, and this means dark sight." Aqua writes on her paper and puts her quill down. "I call upon the god of healing light to disarray this dark sight," Aqua says, several whispers and untellable languages accompanying her speech. What's the next part? Thunder looks back at the book and reads the text as follows. "May the light of your power help me in my darkest hour, and cast the darkness away forever." That's it. Aqua writes down the last phrase of the spell, gets up, and walks to the other side of the room. She opens one of the bottles with the ground sample and puts it on the ground. She takes a step back and says, "I call upon the god of healing light to disarray this dark sight. May the light of your power help me in my darkest hour and cast the darkness away forever." Aqua and Thunder look at the sample for a second and then look around the room to see nothing. "So it's a seal spell then," Thunder says. "Crap." Aqua levitates the book over to herself and looks at the page with the spell. She flips the page and sees a faint picture of a seal needed. "Found the seal." Aqua levitates the book over to Thunder. He looks at it and says, Aqua, this is a seal for healing." "Look at the top of the page, Shocks." Thunder looks at the top of the page to see a seal of healing spring written above. If what the book says is right, this is the seal needed to cast the spell. Thunder rubs the back of his head in frustration and says, "This isn't gonna be easy." "We have no time to race then," Aqua says. Aqua walks around the room, waving her arm around and making the water in the shape of the seal in the book. The water falls to the ground, still remaining its form. "Light the way. Ink ride." The water turns into ink and stains the floor. Thunder closes the book and looks at the paper. "I call upon the god of healing light to disarray this dark sight. May the light of your power help me in my darkest hour and cast the darkness away forever." The seal on the ground begins to glow and shine from a brilliant white. The light starts to fade from the seal. Aqua and Thunder look at the ground sample and see it changed into healthy patches of grass. It worked. Aqua looked surprised. Both Aqua and Thunder looked at each other with smiles. "Let's tell Iran and the others at once." Aqua and Thunder ran out of the room and down the hall with the book and paper at hand. From behind, a shadow with yellow, glowing eyes looks at Aqua and Thunder, its glare vengeful and reckoning. The group walks through the ash and mist of the forest. As they step, the ash ground from below makes a small crunching and snapping sound. The ground stops, and Aqua says, "This should be good. Let's start here." Thunder walks up and takes out his knife. He stabs it in the ground and makes a circle. "Is this really gonna work?" Jack asked. "It will," Iran says. "Aqua and Rainfall have the power of water. Nothing could go wrong." "It's done," Thunder says. "Aqua, Rainfall, you two ready?" Aqua and Rainfall nod in agreement and walk up to the seal. They both put their hands over each other, their claws out and ready. "Are you ready, Rainfall?" Aqua's voice stern and ready. "I'm ready," Rainfall responded. The both of them take a breath and say with several whispers and echoes, "I call upon the god of healing light to disarray this dark sight. May the light of your power help me in my darkest hour and cast the darkness away forever." Several water droplets fall into the seal and slip into the ground. The seal glows a brilliant white from below, causing the mist to be blown away. "What's happening?" Tooth asked. "Just watch," Pond says. The light from the seal makes its way up to the trees and branches. Rainfall struggles to keep her arm up, Before it drops, Aqua takes Rainfall's top hand and holds it up. What? Rainfall, don't you dare give up on me, Aqua says, looking at Rainfall with determination. Before Rainfall could respond, both her and Aqua see something spill out from the tree bark. What is that? Iran looks at the tree, and her face turns into a look of worry. Aqua, Rainfall, get back! Before Rainfall and Aqua could react, a huge gust of wind knocks everyone back. Aqua and Rainfall hit their backs on a tree and fall onto the floor in pain. Aqua spits up blood, but swallows it back down. She gasps for air, replacing the air kicked out of her lungs. Rainfall, are you okay? Jade asks in worry, lifting Rainfall up by her back. I'm fine. Both Jade and Aqua sigh in relief. The others pick themselves up and look at the tree covered in ink. From the build-up ink, the shape of a female dog looks directly at Aqua and smiles demonically and says in Spanish, La quincena otras ha contado, Aqua. The female dog laughs demonically and merges in with the ink, seeping into the ground. The darkness around the group starts to fade, the stars and the moon shining from above. The ground had returned to normal. The trees of where the ink had once become normal as well. What was that? Aqua lays on the ground, shock and worry becoming a spiral in her heart and mind. She grips her right shoulder tightly, out of fear and feeling sick to her heart. It can't be... Nero?